this week's edition of Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? What if I could show?
Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Have a little fun. It is a fun day here out at
You're listening to Drivetime Radio.
Remember, just plug in. I'm ready.
And good morning. Still morning, right? Yeah, by the hair of our chinny chin chin, it is morning. Welcome to another edition of Drive Time Radio. I'm New York Vinnie. Thank you so much. I know we're a little late today. Had some technical little problems getting on the air this morning, but I think we got them all solved, and hopefully we'll have a good little show for you today. Talking a lot about being on the road. Because that is what is going on with people this time of year. I mean, if you can, as the summer hits the halfway mark, August 1st, which goes from that month where we enjoy that beautiful July 4th weekend and the hot weather, and still trying to figure out where you're going to go because everything has gotten so damn expensive that all of those grandiose plans that you had to go somewhere have now changed into what can I afford? Because you're banging out your credit card, let's face it, you're banging out your credit card not for vacations, but to get through the line at the supermarket. And that sucks no matter how you look at it. And no matter how you cut it up, you slice it up, that's a problem for a lot of people. And I just, listen, we're in the same boat. And there are things that you look at and you get pretty upset that are going on. But this is not a political show, and I don't want to delve into the politics. I want to delve into the getting on the road for summer, or what's left of it. Now, one of the things that I am doing this year, and that I find over the last few years really, is the late vacation. The ability that you have if you are retired or you're working part-time or you're unemployed to pick out a place to go to in September and head to that place and enjoy your time there in the month of September and even early October. Many places on the West Coast, the weather stays beautiful into November. The days are gorgeous in November. So the myth that you have to go between July 4th and Labor Day, well, you know, that holds true for the beaches at Wildwood, I guess. But I'll tell you what, I've had some pretty good times at the beaches on the East Coast and Florida and so on and so forth between that July 4th and Labor Day. But I've had some greater times in the month of September. If you really think about it, there's a lot of good to the fact that you're sitting, you know, maybe in a hotel, maybe on the beach, maybe somewhere that is a little more offbeat than that, and listening to a football game or a late season baseball game while you're enjoying the last of the beauty of the summer of 2026. And you're going for less money. It was amazing to me. A few years ago, I took a vacation in late September down to Ocean City, Maryland. I was in Pittsburgh at the time. And I can't tell you how much cheaper. Well, I could tell you. It was 20 to 30% cheaper, less expensive to get a hotel room, to eat a meal, to go on an attraction, to do all the things that would have cost you $100 in August, to do those things 30 days later for 70, 60% of the price. And more places have this advantage of getting the same thing, except one thing you don't get. You don't get the crowds. You don't get the kids. You don't get the people who, for better or for worse, are just a pain in the ass to be around in the summer. The line cutters, the people who don't know how to take road trips. Your number for a shower at Love's is, chance to come up a little bit early. That motel room that you were going to pay $200 for in August will be $150 in September, maybe even less. So what I'm saying to you is, if you can somehow rig your schedule up to go on your vacation between Labor Day and Columbus Day, or even Labor Day and Thanksgiving, you will be surprised at how much money you wind up saving. As I said, do you get cooler nights? Do you get less people? Now, crowds are your thing. If you're a person who thrives off the crowds and the parents with 6 kids under a toe and all of that, yeah, you're going to miss out on that. Some of the attractions are going to be closed. Some of the people that have these attractions, although I think more and more of them are understanding that the vacation season does not end on Labor Day anymore, that this season goes on, and at least offer openings on the weekends and allow you to come and see their attraction on the weekends during September, October, and parts of November. And I've availed myself of some really nice vacations. As I said, Ocean City, Maryland, a couple of years ago. A couple of great museums that I've been to. Some nice picnics, places that the parks, the U.S. parks, the national parks, are unbelievable how less crowded they are after Labor Day. They are unbelievable how many camping spaces are available after Labor Day. They are unbelievable how many spots you can get and what the length of stay is obtainable in many of these places that you don't have a shot at getting into in between July 4th and maybe Columbus Day. Or I'll even backtrack a little bit more, Labor Day. One of the places you can check out if you are one of the people who like to go on late vacations, which I am enjoying more and more each day, check out RV Miles. It's a podcast and a YouTube channel. They're on Facebook and everything, hosted by these two people who have put a lot of work and a lot of effort into giving you great advice on taking your vacation in an RV. But the interesting thing is you don't have to have an RV to cull some really good information from these people. And they are very into the national park system. They are very into how to approach the national park system so that you can get the most out of it. You can get your dollar's worth. And today, I believe that we're all looking for value in our road trips. The dynamic of the road trip has changed since the day where I threw my knapsack in the trunk of, I don't know, pick a car that I took a road trip in, a Nissan 510, a 72 Impala. All these different cars that I took road trips in where my brother and I or other people would get in the car, we'd throw, a bag of clothes and stuff in the back and take off and get on the road. For some trips, never even touching the interstates, going on all the U.S. highways. And Abby and her husband have really put together this channel, RV Miles, that captures a lot of the spirit of that, but yet gives you also great advice about travel spots, about what to look for, about getting reservations at these different spots to make your trip a better trip. So I definitely suggest that you check them out. And if you have the ability to do it, look at a later road trip. Especially if you're like me, you're above a certain age, you get a chance to approach these trips in ways that you may not have before. And at a leisurely pace that you may not have had before. Because in many cases, you don't have to be back to go to work that next Monday. So you're not pushing yourself and stressing yourself out about getting back to be there when the doors open on Monday. I can't tell you how many vacations I've been on that kind of gotten ruined because I couldn't take an extra day off of work. Now, the Europeans have the right idea around this stuff. They take month-long vacations, and they just have the right idea that a holiday is a time where you are supposed to refresh, relax, recharge yourself. How many times have you come home from a vacation and said, I need a vacation from the vacation? 1,000,000 times. Well, I I'm lucky enough to be at an age now where I don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't have to be back. And what's even more gratifying about it is I don't have to be here in front of slaving in front of a hot microphone um, on a particular day. And if I do, I can bring my equipment along with me and do my show from the road. So if you have the ability to do it, it's really a refreshing time to spend a little time out on the road, to do it not as a road trip that you have slotted into this particular time, but as a road trip where you can say, hey, you know what? I want to take another day to explore the Carlsbad Caverns. Or I want to take an extra day to go stand on the Four Corners. Or I want to, take an extra day to enjoy something with my kids or my grandkids. And really soak it in and to really take it in. And give your kids an experience so that they can spend more time with their grandpa, their grandma, or their family. To me, it's time that you really you just when you do it, you just have this feeling of gratification that you chose your family over your boss. You chose your family instead of getting back to work at a certain time. and being at a place where I don't have to worry about being back. So that's what I wanted to say about that. I wanted to put that in there because I really do think that we, as a society, we get so stressed out these days about so many things that are going on that we overlook the value of these road trips and the time spending that time in the car together with our grandkids or with our families or with our, listen, not every trip is great either. Many trips you go on and you go, oh crap, I can't wait to get out of the car. But I think personally that years from now, when it's all coming to an end, um, you'll have a lot more. I'm sure glad I took an extra day with the kids to stay in with them, to play catch with them in a park a day before then to say, oh, well, we can't stay another 5 minutes because we got to hit the road because of 5 o'clock. Those things are becoming much more important to me as the years start to pile up. So, you do your own thing on vacations, but it, for me, has been a period of self-examination, of introspection, of the ability to just say, what's more important? What's going to give me a better result? What's going to make me feel better at the end of the day? What will I get more out of? And I'm pretty sure that you'll wind up getting more out of those few minutes extra that you spent with your daughter or your son or their kids or your kids or the grandkids or whoever it is that you take the trip, your friend Betsy, whoever. And that's why I'm loving, the advice about road trips and the advice of get out and spend more time with your family on these trips. Don't make it an airport trip where the thing you remember is how much hassle you had getting through the airport. The thing you should remember is how much fun you had going over the George Washington Bridge or going to a baseball game at a stadium that you've never been to before, a minor league park. I just think it's something to consider when you're booking your trip, especially for those of you who are like me that haven't booked your trip yet. You wait for the last minute. You think you're going to get some kind of prize, some kind of gratification by sitting back and waiting for the trip to come to you instead of you going to the trip. Good stuff. I hope you're doing okay. We obviously weren't with you last week. Didn't get a chance to jump on. I was down in San Francisco at right smack dab in the middle of a reunion of a radio station, and the staff of that radio station has grown so near and dear to my heart. KUSF, which is the well, it's the place where I cut my teeth in radio. It was a place that allowed me to find my voice. It was a place that allowed me to stretch out and learn how to become a person who enjoyed this art of communication, this ability that we have been given in our lives to communicate with people, to talk to people, to present to people music and words and love and talk and advice and all of the things that go along with being a radio personality, or just somebody who likes to gab on the radio. I've never really considered myself to be a radio personality, because what is a radio personality? I've just considered myself to be a person who has found that I've been able to bring some people some enjoyment when I'm on the radio, whether it be through the music that I would play, whether it be through the talk, the ability to spend time with you, a part of your day with you, the ability to make friends with you, not in the sense of the kind of buddy buddy, put my arm around you friends, but just the friendly relationship that develops uh, or has developed between me, the guy that comes out of your speaker, and you, the person who is kind enough to tune in, to look for me every week and hear what's going on with me, and what's going on in my life, and me, what's going on in your life, and you meet up and you hang out and you have a good time. You talk about a show you might have seen, a couple of shows you might have seen. You talk about it in a very in a way that just makes you feel like your neighbors. Only I'm lucky enough to get to do it among a bunch of people, and I never take that ever for granted. Not from the first day I sat behind a microphone at Calix, Kalx, doing traffic reports for Razoo Kelly many years ago in the early 80s, late 70s, really. And it's just something that I've always felt uh, this way of communicating with you, and an ability to do it on a grand scale. So I was uh, down in San Francisco last week. We had a weekend long. It's funny. We had on Wednesday night. I was at a reunion up here in Seattle. Actually, the reunion was in is that it's not Kirkland. It's Redmond. The BJ's at the Redmond Town Center, and people came by and they had the drinks and hors d'oeuvres and everything, and got to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time. I'm sure somebody's posted some pictures up about that. If not, I'll post some more. I find that I don't take as many pictures as I really should at some of these reunions, but I got to see some people that I really um, just thought were really quality people when I met them, and remain quality people to this day. Keith Shipman. I'm sure many of you remember him from KJR, the guy whose job I took, and got a chance to sit and talk to him for a few minutes. Um, Michelle Grosnick, who was our sales manager. Randy Novak, who worked for the Sonics, but at that point in time, the Sonics and KJR were so intertwined together that we got to see these people, we got to talk to them, we got to find out how their lives were going, how their, just how they were doing, how they were making out in life. And it seemed to me that many of the people who weren't dead were doing okay. Brian Wheeler, we didn't see. He's passed away a few years ago. I'm sure many of you remember Wheels. He passed away a few years ago. A guy that I miss. I would have loved to have sat with Wheels and talked to him about his life, and just talk to him for a few minutes. Talk about the Sonics, or about different things that we really, was funny. We we just used to have great conversations about life and about our philosophies on treating people and the people that are at the other end of the microphone. He's such a quality guy, such a nice guy. Um, but unfortunately, he was taken from us way too soon. I didn't get a chance to see Brian. But another guy who, you just felt good about seeing, and unfortunately, we did not get to see him. But so he had that, and then after that, the following day, jumped into the car and headed down to San Francisco to spend time with another great group of people um, from KUSF. And KUSF was a radio station that lasted a number of years in San Francisco, playing alternative music. It was a college radio station, but it was much more than that. It was a place where many people who had or still do enjoy great careers in the music business got to spend time, develop their talents, and be more than they probably would have been had they not had this group of people around them to learn from, to have input into what they were doing, to input to what other people were doing, and to learn what a fun time and what a cool thing this radio business could be. So got a chance to spend time with a bunch of people. Again, didn't get to see a bunch of people that I would like to have seen, but it was really a good group of people, and really felt a gratification by going to this thing and feeling that, hey, uh, get out there and talk to people, get out there and see people, get out there and reminisce and think about these times that we used to have. Um, between the air staff, of course. I got a big thrill is that I got a chance to hang out with Mike Gastineau, the Gas Man. Um, I love the Gas Man, man. He's just he's a solid dude. He's a dude that I probably would have never been friends with in life if I had just met him on an airplane somewhere. I would have said hello to him, probably would have talked to him. We would have talked which teams we liked, which teams we didn't like, yada. And he would have won his way, I would have won mine. But because we were put together by this great bond of radio, we didn't just talk to each other for a minute and walk away. We spent time with each other. We got to know each other. We got to become good friends. We got to become, the kind of friends that will last forever. And, I'm so thankful for that relationship, for that friendship, of being able to have this guy in some part of my life. We don't always agree on everything, but that's not the point of the relationship. The point of the relationship is you met somebody who is on a very similar level to you. And through this acquaintance, my life became better. I hope that he would say the same thing, that his life became better by knowing me. And he's a great guy. I didn't see the garage. The garage was, I guess, not feeling well enough to come out and hang with us. But the garage, as many of us, have medical problems, and he's the kind of guy that I wish that we had more time together, more time to talk to each other, more time to go over the stuff that happened in those days, in the mid to late 90s. Because You care about these people. So we did the road trip down to San Francisco. As I said, we took the Genesis GV90, which I'm here to tell you that this car, I know it's got a $91,000 sticker. I know that it's got a tech out the exhaust pipes. It has so many different things in it, from self-driving to wonderful seats that are comfortable, that are supportive, that can make you forget about where you are and how you got there. But the engineers at Genesis and the folks in Hyundai, which is the parent company of Genesis, has made this car so enjoyable to spend time in that you just you just enjoy it. And the car is set up, the suspension of the car, the power of the car, the driving of the car, the roadworthiness of the car is set up that you don't lose the soul of the vehicle. I'll be the first to admit that it's not like if you're expecting to get in and drive a vehicle is going to take you in the car as a passenger, you're going to feel this car. You're going to feel it in your hands when you're gripping it. You're going to feel this car as you're driving it. You're going to feel it. It's an interesting concept that they've come up with in this car. You don't, you have enough feeling in the car that you feel like you're driving a quality vehicle. The contact with the road, the suspension, the power of the car, all of the things that you want to be in a car when you drive it. Flipping it down into a certain drive mode, the ability to take it off-road and go up into the mountains and take it to a place that you can, enjoy it. They've lost none of that. They've lost none of the ruggedness of the car. They've lost none of the sleepability of the car. But they've kept in it that feeling of I'm driving a machine that was thought out with you in mind, from the comfort of the seats to things like climbing down a section of rocks, to going up a hill and being able to see where you're going, things that 10 years ago you couldn't do in a car. You didn't have that ability, but now you do have that ability in this car. The price is steep. This car isn't for everybody. The ticket on this car to drive it is steep. No pun intended. But it's steep. But it gives you a connection with the soul of this vehicle that hits you on every level, from stopping to hitting the gas and going, to comfort, to not being comfortable when you are driving the car over a hill or down a ravine or into a place where you probably wouldn't go with a luxury car. This particular car, the GV80, delivers that. As far as a road car, this particular car delivers that ability for you to drive this car down a hill or up a hill or across a not so slick area where on many cars you would say, I'm not taking my car into this. I'm not going to put my car through this. I don't want to ruin my car. Well, I don't know for sure because I'm not the kind of guy that likes to get in these cars and beat the crap out of them. I know there are some people who do what I do, and they like to do that. They want to see the limit that they can push the car to, and that's good. I mean, I think that should be something that is done by people. But I was in it to find out what my relationship with the car is going to be, and how I might enjoy that and make this trip, this road trip, more enjoyable for me driving this car up and down the ravine or through, I took it, there's this little spot around Lake Shasta that I stop off at almost every time. Certainly they had a fire there a few years ago, and it has, it just brings you to a place that you drive and you say, boy, this is about as close to nature as I'm going to get in an automobile. In this car, this is a beautiful spot, and I can pull up into this spot, and I can shut the engine off, and I can just look up through the sunroof. I can look around, and I can just feel like this vehicle is taking me to a place where not many other cars, except a Land Rover or a Jeep or a particular car would take me. And then I would feel that I could comfortably get back from that spot, that I wouldn't be getting held up there. Well, the GV80 Black is the addition of this car, because there are several models of this vehicle out there. This car never put me in that position. It didn't put me anywhere where I didn't think it couldn't bring me back from. And that sense of security, I think, is a really good sense of security. And you can go to many of the magazines and get all of the technical information, how it does what it does on a technical level. I give you what it does as a driver, as somebody who loves cars, who loves getting into different cars, and loves having fun in them. And this particular car really rang all those bells for me. And it did the trick for me. It supplied that need to go somewhere away from people, which, believe you me, today we try to get away from people as much as we can, don't we? I mean, you want a car that can take you away from the pickup driver who's blowing diesel smoke in your face at $7 a gallon. Or, the people that you just say, please, Calgon, take me away. And this car gets you there, it gets you back. Or it has for me every time I've tried. So, it had that going for it. And, again, comfortable. The feeling that whatever mode you put this car into, it would get you back from, if you didn't do anything stupid, it would get you back from wherever you were going. It wasn't going to leave you stuck somewhere. And I was just I was so impressed with the car. I've been sitting here talking about it so much that I didn't um and let me do this. Let me pull my little the film I took out so I can share it with you because it's I did a little film on. I'll tell you a little bit more about the car. But I want to spend that time being able to a little bit more insight into the car. It was that enjoyable of a car. Um, so this is the Genesis GV80 Black Edition. Everything in the car is black. The wheels are black. Everything shines. Everything has a nice black sheen on it. Black is beautiful when you're driving this car down the street. Lots of people look at it, are attracted to it, and just you feel like you're driving something special. Okay, and I always think that that's one of the things when you're spending 90 something thousand dollars on a car. I think that you want something that is going to say that you're driving something special. You went out, you earned some money, you spent the money to buy that car so you could drive down the street and say, hey, look at me, look at what I got. I've been driving cars around like that since I'm 12 years old, shooting up to the corner. Now, granted, when I started driving cars like that, that's what you were trying to impress the girls. You were trying to say, hey, look what I'm driving this week, even though nobody else was driving the car. But again, it was a lot of fun to get to know those people and get to hang with them and get to listen. Life is about the relationships you build, isn't it? And I just thought it was really cool that we got a chance to do that. So that was that was a really neat um, chance to get this car out on the road. Now let's see if I can punch up the this really. Come on, Vincent, get the darn thing in there. We'll get it in there. We'll get it in there in a second for you. It is for some reason, I don't know how I wind up doing this, but I do. Okay, let's try one more thing here so I can get this little piece of film. It's not even a little piece of film anymore, but this little piece of film into our lives and our ability to look at it. So, and if you're listening, if you're heading out for your vacation, like yeah, it's working. We'll have it done in a second. If you are heading out on vacation this weekend, whether it be for a week, a couple of weeks, or just a day or 2 days, get out, get on the road, and enjoy that. Enjoy getting out there in the car. I know that the gas prices suck right now. Um, we have been hit with you know, we've been hit through really no fault of our own. A really sickening situation. And one can only hope that somehow, some way, uh, we'll get some kind of resolution to this insanity, and we'll get a chance to get out of this thing and enjoy um, all of the stuff that has gone on around the war, the war in Iran, and the war in other places, and what's going on not only with the price of gasoline, but just the price of everything. I hope we get that. I hope we get that resolution sometime soon. I hope we get that ability to just start to feel comfortable as a country again. So, please, hope for that. All right, this is the baby. This is the 2026 Genesis Black. You probably know where that is. This is a Thursday night, or Thursday, really getting out of town, going through under the park and the buildings in Seattle. And this was interesting to me because it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon or so, and it just wasn't that crowded. So I guess other people, and again, it was Thursday night. So it seemed like a lot of people had the same idea as me. Get out of town as soon as you could. Get out and do yourself a favor. And just, get in the car, get the kids in the car, and get out and enjoy yourself. And that's exactly what I did. Headed toward San Francisco in this really beautiful GV80. Heading down, I do want to add to this that I didn't get a chance to fully edit this this video, so there are some parts that are going to run long. But this is the GV80 as we are parked in some of my favorite spots. This is a cool little place that I have always meant to stop and have dinner in near Mount Shasta, called the Club Klondike. And it just looks like a dive bar on the side of the road that serves, from what I've heard from some people, pretty decent road food. What is road food? Hamburgers, grilled cheese, quick, good food with some calories behind it and the ability to keep you going. This is in the shadow of Mount Shasta. This is I-5 in Southern Oregon, Northern California. And the handling of this vehicle was when you put it in sport mode, it just handled wonderfully. It gave you a confidence in driving through the road, down I-5, in high speed. Everybody's moving along at a clip of 80 miles an hour. This is one of my favorite places, the Cresswell Bakery. It's in Cresswell, Oregon. I stopped there on the way up this time. And this is what I was sitting behind when I did it. This is the interior of the Genesis. Again, tufted seats, great materials, spectacular fit and finish, high tech to provide you with positioning of the seats to make you as comfortable as you can possibly be. A heater, ventilation, and air conditioning system that made the climate inside the car what you needed to be when you needed to be. Now, some people say that some of these car companies spend way too much time on the on the interior of these cars, that you don't need all of this stuff. Well, believe me, you do need a lot of this stuff. You want to be as comfortable on a long road trip, on a 1,000-mile road trip. You want to be long enough to feel comfortable. You want massaging seats. And the GV80 delivered that type of seat for you. The ability for you to set those seats to where you wanted them, to see across the board here where you are, what the seats are doing, what the particular functions of the car are doing, gives you as a driver a lot of information. Gives a passenger a lot of information. And this was a kind of little weird thing I ran into. This was in the shadow of Mount Shasta, a cemetery that I'd never noticed. Another great thing was olives. Knock knock, who's there? Olives. Olives who? The Olive Pit, or I love you. Anyway, great little place, and the Olive Pit, one of my must stops on the I-5 road trip. This, another must stop. I loves rest stop, truck stops, gas stations. They're not a Buc-ee's, but therein lies the beauty. It doesn't have the mass insanity that a Buc-ee's has when you go to a Buc-ee's. You come into this place, you do your business, you go to the bathroom. If you want to take a shower, you can take a shower, and you get your gas at a reasonable price with good gas, top tier gas, and you get back on the road. Day or night, 24 hours a day, whether it's Christmas Eve or whatever it is. The people say hello to you when you walk in. It's a friendly face on the road. Very rarely have I ever gone into a Love's and been disappointed with the level of service that I received, the quality of the product that I received. As a matter of fact, I consider their pizza to be among some of the best pizza that I've ever eaten at a truck stop. And actually, in many of the pizza parlors that I've been to in life. They are comfortable, they are safe, they are clean, whether you're a man or a woman. Get down to, of course, across the bay from San Francisco, and there we are. Here is the 1986 picture of the KUSF Air Staff and Crew. This is us a little bit later, like last weekend. And these are people that have my heart so much. The guy in front here to your left is Harry Levy. He's the guy that put me on air for the first time. And, I never got a chance. And he went on to a great career in records and in the music business. I never got a chance to say thank you to Harry for giving me that opportunity. He stuck me in a shift called the I-Beam shift. There was a club in San Francisco, the I-Beam, that had great acts on Monday night. And nobody wanted to work that shift because they wanted to see the act that was coming to the I-Beam. But I wanted to be on the radio. So I gladly took the I-Beam shift for a couple of years so that I could get to practice my craft and learn what the radio business and what it was about and how to do things. And in that shift, it always gave me a chance to get better at what I did. And that's why I did the I-Beam shift for a couple of years before I moved into mornings and then middays, and then I worked every shift at a radio station. But Harry Levy, whose picture you saw there, was really the first guy that said that I think you got something. Pursue it. Go after it. Learn how to do it. Another guy named Dan Carlisle, who some people may remember, if you lived in New York, you remember from WNEW-FM, was another guy who encouraged me in my early career to get up and and just allow that to happen. So anyway, getting back to the GV80, yeah, the Genesis GV80, um, all in all, was just a great vehicle. There are so many vehicles to choose from out there, um, that it's hard to pick one that you're gonna love, especially for the purpose that you want to use it for. Whether it's whether it's hauling your family around, whether it's uh, hauling your friends around, whether it's getting away for a weekend. I just think that uh, there are incredible vehicles out there, and the GV80 is one of those vehicles that even if it's just sitting there, you're looking at it. It stops you. It makes you look at it. The design, these little design quirks that come up in cars. Okay, the GV80 does something that I rarely see on any cars. It is a design line that goes around, wraps around the headlights, um, stops at the wheel well, and then continues on the rear of the front fender with two lights. It acts as a directional signal, it acts as a daylight running light, and it acts also as a marker light on the side. And this is whoever designed this, whoever came up with the idea of it, that said, let's do this and this, and we have lights here, and it'll give this vehicle something that no other vehicle in this class has. And Genesis did it. It doesn't look like a lot of other cars out there, and that's exactly the point. It looks different. And you can buy this car if you don't want all of the incredible stuff that turns it into a black edition. It's it's something. Okay, I'm going over to a different microphone here. I just got. All right, you tell me if you can. This thing should be okay, but unfortunately, there's not a way that I can know 100% sure if you can hear me or not. So I'm just hoping that you can. Anyway, uh, the the GV80, you can buy one for 70, 79,000. You don't have to go all in for the $90,000 um, vehicle, but and still have a car that looks the same, that acts the same. It doesn't have the same horsepower. It doesn't have the same uh, pieces that make this the black edition, but you still get the quality of Genesis. You're still getting a vehicle that rides great. You're getting a hell of a nice vehicle for that kind of money. 300 horsepower, turbocharged, 2.5 liter, four cylinder. That's the standard vehicle. Now, if you opt for what happens in the black, 375 horsepower, twin turbo V6, you can get a third row in there if you want. It'll give you 7 passengers. Kind of crowded, I think. But it's just a vehicle that it will give you all the bells and whistles. Uh, Mileage, yeah, you're in. You're probably gonna. It does drink gas. That's the one thing about it. But when I drove this car, I had a heavy foot with it. So figure that into it. But when you figure out that Genesis has only been making, don't forget that Genesis 15 years ago was a Hyundai. It was part of the Hyundai. They sold it in Hyundai showrooms. And in 15 years, this car company has come along and just and crushed other people. They're every bit as good as a Mercedes, every bit as good as a Beamer, every bit as good as any Japanese car that you want to put out there. They are just a solid effort. You're not going to ever go wrong buying a Genesis, I think. The car feels like, we often say about the Mazda that it hits above its weight. And the same thing can be said for the GV80. It feels plusher, it feels nicer, it feels better than it actually is. And when you take this thing off-road, you feel solid. So, again, you're going to get a really sharp, solid vehicle, whichever one you go for. The only thing that I didn't like in this particular car, to be honest with you, and I think I'm right, I may be getting my cars, is it didn't have a massaging passenger seat. And if you want to start an argument with somebody, have one massaging seat in the car, because believe you me, they're always going to want to sit in that seat. And when they're the driver, they're going to be on top of you to, hey, I want to sit in that seat too. Anyway, great car, great road trip. Finally coming back on the way. And the one thing that I can say about the road trip coming back up is we got to stop at a couple of great food places. We definitely got to stop at the Olive Pit, which is one of my favorites, to get some anchovy stuffed olives. We got to stop at the Cresswell Bakery, which, again, if you are going north or south, if you see that sign that says Cresswell Bakery, stop at that place. Get yourself the ham and egg and cheese, the bacon and egg and cheese sandwich. I wish they made it on a Kaiser roll because it's the only thing that's missing. If they made it on a Kaiser roll, it would be that sandwich that you get at 9 Million Delis in New York. That ham and egg and cheese or bacon and egg and cheese sandwich that you get at all these delis, and is a staple has been a staple in New York breakfast ever since you sat down at the breakfast table and got Cocoa Marsh and other New York staples of breakfast. Great breakfast. Stop at the Cresswell Bakery. Coming back. And the only thing I will also tell you is I stopped in Roseburg, Oregon on the way up. And if you see a sign that says Howard Johnson's Motel, don't stop. Don't have time to tell you the whole story today, but don't stop. Keep going. Go somewhere else. It will not be a good experience for you. But a great trip. I'm going to do a video of the reunion and so on and so forth. I've just been so overwhelmed since I came back that I'm trying to get to everybody. And so if I haven't answered your email or your text or something, hang in there. I promise you I will get to you this weekend. Okay? All right. So that's the GV80. Wonderful car. Drinks gas, but you know what? Sometimes it's worth the money you pay for a little extra gas to be treated like royalty when you're driving up and down the street in a car. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Want to remind you that Drive Time Radio is brought to you by my good friend George Jackson. George, uh, this is the time of year where the schools are going back and the sports teams are going back to football teams and so on and so forth. If you need stuff for your team, if you need tchotchkes, handouts for the players, jackets, those varsity jackets, all the cool stuff, T-shirts, all the stuff that goes along with playing on a team. My friend George Jackson does this better than anybody I know. And his work is exemplary, but you can get that kind of work from a lot of people. What you can't get is the kind of service that George Jackson gives you, the kind of understanding that he displays to you when an order goes belly up for some reason. If somebody doesn't fulfill their part of the bargain, if something happens, things happen. You don't get an AI schmuck that said, well, I'm Teddy, the AI, No, you talk to George, and he doesn't duck his phone calls. He talks to you. And he gets it straightened out. And that's what you want. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for service. Whether you believe it or not, you're paying for service. You're paying for the right item to be delivered to you. And you're paying for an ability for whoever you are working with to deliver that item to you as you wanted it. You're not paying for a computer screen. So give George a call, gjpromo.com. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on X. You can find him on all of the social media channels. You can look at his work, and then you can decide whether you want to speak to some AI at 2 o'clock in the morning before your event because your stuff hasn't gotten there and the Federal Express office is closed, or you can get George's number and talk to him, and George will take care of you and at least give you a feeling of, okay, it'll be here in the morning. George has got my back, and he's going to straighten this out for me. And that's what you want. He's going to take care of it. The one thing I will say, though, is that you don't get those kind of problems with George. It's that simple. He comes through for you. He does the right thing for you. That's what he is all about. So please, if you are looking for, whether it's for your business, whether it's for your sports team, I don't know, whether you want to call up and ask somebody how much a T-shirt is going to cost, George will get it done for you. GJ Promo, George Jackson. He's a good guy. He's a great businessman. He believes that service is alive and well and living in our midst. That he'll take care. George will take care of you. And if he doesn't, you call me up. And I'll make sure that George takes care of you. Because he's a good guy. And he deserves your business. He'll do the right thing for you. GJ Promo, George Jackson. Tell him you heard it on Drive Time Radio. And also, if you get a chance and you're listening to Drive Time Radio on YouTube, or you can go over to Drive Time Radio and you can hit that button that says that you are hearing it on YouTube, on Facebook, on whatever means of social media communication you hear this on. Please let George know that this is where you heard it from, okay? Please do me that favor. Please also subscribe to us. If for some reason you don't subscribe, why? I sit here and I do a show for you every week, most weeks. please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and listen to us and tell your friends to listen to us. I don't make money doing this. I do it because I love to do it. And I would appreciate it if you could reciprocate by subscribing and hitting the like button, hitting the bell so that we'll notify you whenever different drive time things. I really wanted this fall at some point, maybe even at a baseball game, do a meetup among our listeners in the area and just get a chance to meet the group of you that's become my friend or my friends for so long. It's a privilege to be able to sit here and talk to you every week, and I appreciate you letting us come into your living rooms or into your wherever you wind up seeing us. I'm just trying to get something here real quick because we're getting to that. Oh man, you should have my job. uh, there we go. We'll get this thing here set up in just a second. All right. 2026. It's so funny. I put in, I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting the right car. And then I finally figured it out. I was putting in a 2016 Toyota instead of a 2026. Sometimes I wonder about myself. All right. Time now for, of course, one of my favorite parts of the show, which is, yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? And I didn't get a chance to do the fancy opening or everything, so I'll just tell you about it and roll the tape. This week I am driving, just got it a day ago, so I haven't had a chance to drive a lot of it yet. But I am squiring the flagship luxury trim of Toyota's pickup line, their full-size line, the Toyota Tundra Capstone for 2026. When you talk about luxury pickup trucks, this really is an incredible, incredible pickup truck. Now, I know the first thing you're going to say is, well, Vinny, they were having trouble with that. They got rid of the V8 engine. They went with a V6. They have this iForce Max twin turbocharged V6 hybrid system. 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque. Boy, it sounds like a real dog. It's not. For 2026, they have done the usual model year updates, made it more luxurious, if you could believe that could be done. It tows up to 10,340 pounds. You can put almost 1,500 tons in the bed of this thing. It's a power tailgate, a power rear window. There's power all over the place. They've increased the size of the screen. If you go for the Capstone edition, you get all of these different, really neat little tricky things that make the Capstone a nicer place to live. I don't know that this is the truck that you would want to. I don't know. It's not the the luxurious, I shouldn't say luxurious, the ballsy um, Toyota that is going to go rock climbing. But if you're looking for a luxury truck that you're going to hitch your fifth wheel onto and tow it across the country on that great road trip, and all your kids and your family is going to be happy cruising down the road in this thing, behind its 437 horsepower and torque that's going to carry this thing down the road. This is something that you need to look at. EPA says it'll get 19 miles per gallon city, 22 miles per gallon highway. So it'll pull anything along that you want to pull. A boat, a trailer, your house down, your house to grandma's. Think about it. You can take this capstone and you can hook your house up to the back of the truck and drag it across town to grandma's house. How fun would that be for you and the kids? Beautiful wheels on this thing. As I said, 22-inch chrome and machine finished alloy wheels, power running boards, and one thing that you know, I like running boards. I really like the power running boards on this particular model truck, the Capstone, because the boards come out, they make it lower to the ground, and for an older guy like me, it makes it easier to get in and out of the truck. And I just got to say that it's a way to make living with this truck on an everyday basis easier to do. Everything that Toyota has done with this truck over the past model year has been to make it easier to get into, easier to get out of, better to drive it, more luxurious, and more accessible. And I think they have exceeded in that. So, as I said, it's a hybrid. It's that IMAX. So the numbers on gas mileage aren't ridiculous. There are, I just noticed that I need to put this on and let you see this. But this Toyota Tundra Capstone is just a good-looking vehicle. It's what you would expect from a Toyota. It is a vehicle that, again, I'm not going to tell you that this vehicle is a vehicle that is, going to take you up to the mountains. It will, but it's not that, crazy, wheels out the side and everything. This is a luxury truck built to show you off in luxurious fashion, to take your family on that camping trip, to take your family in luxury to the next campsite down the road. The rear gate goes down nicely, softly. It's got 4x4. It's got the IMAX. It has everything that you needed to have to make your trip a fun place to be. And if you know Toyota, you know the Tundra, you know what these vehicles have and how far they've come since the first Tacoma was introduced many, many, many years ago. The name Toyota means something in trucks now as well. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised in taking this vehicle for a test ride. You'll really be blown out the door, as no pun intended with the door. But the fit and finish, the materials they use in the vehicle are fine materials. The fit and finish is good. Everything on this vehicle works as it should. It's a solid vehicle, and I really think that if you're in the market, by the way, price on this vehicle. Let me just pull it up. You know you're getting into this is a vehicle that will cost you suggested retail price $83,075. The only options on this vehicle are wheel locks and a spare tire lock. So $83,075 will get you in the door. And I believe there's a lot of them around at Toyota dealers. So I would have to say, from watching our friends at Car Edge, that the probability of you making a deal on a truck like this, if that were the way that you wanted to go to get one of these vehicles, would be there'd be a high likelihood that you would be able to get yourself a deal on a Toyota Capstone. I think that's a vehicle that you would wind up being able to get yourself a deal on. So that is Vinnie. What are you driving this week? All right, that's about going to wrap it up for today's show. I sincerely apologize for being late for getting the show started. We'll try to have everything back on track. I'll also have some good news for you next week about a little business venture that I'm going to get involved with. So make sure you're listening next week for that as well. As I think we'll have something that we'll be able to some news that we'll be able to tell you that may be of good benefit to you. Also, very, very good to see my good friend in town, Bill Kazarba, who, former roommate and former guy about town that he and I got together, went to lunch yesterday, and got a chance to spend some time reminiscing about the old days. And the old days were a lot of fun. These days are a lot of fun too. So it was good to see Bill. I was glad that he made some time for me. I look forward to going down to Florida at some point and seeing him. I also want to wish a very, very, very happy birthday to my ex-wife, Judy, who will be turning on tomorrow. And believe it or not, she took the road trip with me up, with my daughter and I, up from San Francisco. And we had a great time. So it was nice to have her in the car and to celebrate her birthday. And, you can't be mad at people forever, Sometimes you just have to say, hey, you got to let things go, or else you can turn into a revengeful prick like other people that I know in my life, in all of our lives. God bless you all. And we'll see you next Saturday morning at 11, if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Thank you for listening to the show. See you Monday morning with Michael Knight from Mikey and Vinnie Take on the World at a crisp hour of 10 minutes after 11 o'clock in the morning. Please join us then. We'll have pomp and circumstance, romp, and mirth coming all out of your little computer, okay? All right. Take care of yourself, and peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. And as Michael would say, what a wine. Take care of yourselves, all right? Okay. Bye-bye now.